Hey there world, I'm the Courageous Goldfish and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so glad I finally have time to sit down and catch up with you guys. It's been a crazy couple of months and I have some really awesome stuff to show you guys today. Obviously you've seen the title of this video, but I do have to make a few tiny little disclaimers before we jump into it. Firstly, the overall value of this haul is $1,000. However, that is cumulative over the 3 to 4 months that I've been super busy. So this is not a normal consumption speed for me within like a month. This basically spans the entirety of my collecting so far for 2024. The last haul video I did was all the way back in the beginning of February. So this has been accumulated over several months. Secondly, I did fudge the numbers like just a little bit. Let me explain. So you remember back in September when I unboxed that really bad Orca Toys Urza and ended up returning her for Amazon store credit. So I had the Amazon gift card that I was sitting on for a little bit and I ended up being able to use her to pay down the balance on a really expensive figure that I was wanting. So that definitely took the brunt out of like the onslaught that Wallet-kun was facing. As well, I was also gifted a figure by one of you lovely people, which is still so crazy to think about. So I did end up taking her average retail price onto the total for this video, but obviously I did not actually pay the money myself, which I am still so insanely grateful for. That's legitimately insane. I also did go to Vancouver for Miku Expo last month, in case you didn't know. Not like I haven't been able to shut up about it or anything, but I did do a little bit of shopping while I was there as well, which I counted towards the total of this video. So technically it is $1,000. It is not clickbait, okay? Even though we did just recently qualify for monetization on this channel, which is again insanely crazy. So I am on my best behavior and trying to please the algorithm gods, okay? Because we recently qualified for the partner program, it's kind of got me thinking about like, how can I make this better? How can I improve what I'm doing and make things easier and make the process like cleaner and like tighten stuff up? So I did actually invest in a little bit of new equipment that I'm very excited about. But first, to give us a little appetizer, we'll just get right into it with the little trinkets. While we were in Vancouver, we were staying in Richmond, so we dedicated the second day of our vacation to kind of wandering around the city, and we ended up stopping at Aberdeen Center. Aberdeen? Something. You can tell I'm not from there, okay? Like, don't sue me, I'm sorry. We came across this shop that sells handmade Korean fashion jewelry, and of course, I had to pick up a couple things. Firstly, when I saw these adorable heart barrettes, I immediately thought they'd go super well with some of my other favorites in my closet. I am a big fan of mixing pastels, and I've got these really cute floral slingbacks in a pink-green colorway that I'm obsessed with. I had a vision, and I knew as soon as I saw these that they'd be the perfect touch. I also picked up a really cute pair of earrings as well, even though I literally need more jewelry like a hole in the head, but these neon flowers are just so cute. I knew I couldn't leave them behind. I am very fluid with my jewelry and connected to it in a weird way, so I know when something really vibes with me that it's a good purchase. I've always liked enamel pins, but I've been able to steer myself out of that rabbit hole because I have literally nowhere to display them. I can't poke holes in most of my bags, and also I really don't have the wall space to be able to support putting something up, so it was a really easy way to tell myself, hey, this is like, these are gonna collect dust in a drawer somewhere, okay? Until I got a cork board in my office at work, and now apparently it's full steam ahead. I've been picking up a few more here and there, and I bought these awesome glitter stars from Doodles by Naomi to use as spacers. Spacers, that's what the enamel pin girlies call them, right? I've actually also been using them as lapel pins as well, so I can't decide if I want to put them up or keep them to wear. I've never really considered myself an art book collector either, even though I did recently pick up a set of Black Butler ones. How are we feeling about the public school arc, by the way, okay? I gotta talk about it. I'm literally obsessed. That notwithstanding, I immediately knew when this got announced that I absolutely needed it, and that, of course, is the Sailor Moon Raisonné. Raisonné by definition means a systematic annotated catalog, and this definitely feels like the definitive collection of Naoko's artworks. This book is an absolute treat from start to finish, with a gorgeous foiled dust jacket and full color illustrations of Usagi and the gang over a 32-year time period. This art book spans chronologically from 1991 to 2023, and especially considering how Sailor Moon has transcended generations, it's really cool to see how the art style has evolved over the years. Takeuchi sensei's work has always had this underlying theme of glamour, and considering she just did a collaboration with literally Chanel, I was expecting to be gagged, and I absolutely was. This art book was announced to be in the works years ago, and the Moonie community was highly anticipating it because the originals from the 90s are super rare and expensive on the aftermarket. If you are at all a fan of Sailor Moon or shoujo art in any way, you definitely need to try and pick this up. When I speak of Sailor Moon merch, I'm highly biased and I have my fair share of complaints about how we get treated by Bandai, but I have to say that this art book pulls no punches and it's simply a solid must-have. Now, pulling it back into the meat of this video, let's get into the figures. Some of you may know I've been slowly collecting a full set of Sailor Senshi from the Glitter and Glamours line, and finally, after patiently waiting 4 years, all of the girls have come home to roost. Where I last left you, I had Mars, Venus, Pluto, and Saturn on the way, and I'm sure you've been able to see them in the background in the videos of the past couple of months. While I do have my criticisms of this line, and they're not all perfect by any means, I found myself decently surprised with them, and it was definitely a trust the process moment. Pluto and Saturn specifically are 2 of the more flawless of the bunch, and I'm literally obsessed with how they all look together in my setup. I do have to say my Mars is definitely the worst one out of them all for sure. In terms of paint, she's pretty solid, but her legs are really off and there's no way to stand her up at all. Her legs are either like too spread apart from each other or the heels are just straight up messed because it's super obvious she's a little goofed. I tried to heat up her legs a little bit with a hairdryer and then tied them together tightly to see if that would mold them back in place, and it helped a little, but she's definitely still super unstable. Overall though, this was a great way to get all the Senshi in my collection for a good price, and I'm actually planning to build them custom shelving when I move so they really have that extra wow factor. And now I can be done with Big Bad Toy Store. When I catch you, Big Bad Toy Store, when I catch you, like that's literally where we're at right now. I'm so happy to be done with Big Bad Toy Store. Watch me say that and then make another pre-order with them within like literally 3 months. I don't think it's gonna happen, but watch me put my foot in my own mouth. Speaking of new equipment, you might have noticed in the prior B-roll that I finally broke down and bought myself a turntable. I literally don't know why it took me so long to take the leap. I was filming with a camera in one hand and manually turning my figures on a Lazy Susan with the other the entire time I've been making figure videos, so this has literally been life-changing. I bought the widest one I could find on Amazon because I was concerned anything smaller wouldn't be able to support much weight, but this thing is an absolute beast. It can handle even quarter scale bunny figures with ease, which I was very surprised by. It also came with 5 different colored toppers, so I can change the color of the top based on what fits the figure I'm showcasing best. I also went ahead and picked up an air duster while I was at it. Even though most of my collection is behind detolfs, I was supremely slacking on dusting any of my open air ones, specifically my Urzas, and with this, it's so much easier. My friend Livelob actually convinced me to try it out, and again, another game changer. The model I got has 3 different speeds and a couple of different nozzles, so it's actually way more powerful than I thought it would be. Takes care of stubborn dust without breaking a sweat. Thirdly, this is more me holding myself accountable, okay? The entire time I've been doing YouTube, I've been using the dinky little SD card that came with my camera. So literally, like, specifically on longer videos, like Wine and Wan Hobby, I would film an hour's worth of footage, have to stop, take a break to download it off my camera into my editor so that I could then delete the files to have enough space to go and film the rest of the video. Like, it was just absolutely insane. And I knew in the back of my brain, I'm like, I could just buy a new SD card. But somehow I just didn't know that they aren't that expensive. In my brain, I'm like, camera stuff has got to be expensive. So I was just putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. You guys, I got an SD card that is literally 8 times bigger than the one I had before for $30. Like, $30 to make my life infinitely easier. I can't believe it took me this long. I'm actually cheesed. But yeah, I'm kind of trying to glow up a little bit, like I said, and obviously part of that is like, if I don't take myself seriously, how can I expect anybody else to? But I'm definitely super duper happy with how much easier that this new equipment is gonna make my life. Now, this next figure I've had in the collection for almost 4 months, but I did not want to half-ass introducing her to you because she's literally the crown jewel of my collection right now. Without further ado, I introduce you to Strawberry Miku. Hello. Today I am not here to talk. I am not here to talk about my impulse spending problem. I'm not here to talk about the fact that as soon as I paid for this figure, she dropped 5,000 yen the next day. I'm not here to talk about the fact that my hometown was recently the coldest place on planet Earth for a couple days there. Let that sink in. I'm not here to talk about the fact that DHL dropped her off to the wrong house this afternoon. I am simply here to talk about her. And to be honest, I don't even mean talk, I mean unbox, because I already know how I feel about this figure. I already know that I'm going to love her and she is instantaneously going to become my favorite figure in my collection. I know this. In spite of the unfortunate fact that she literally dropped 50,000 yen immediately after I paid for her, I didn't actually really have to pay for this figure. Basically, if you guys know, a couple of months ago, back in September, I unboxed a really bad and really expensive figure that I ended up sending back. And so I had an Amazon JP gift card that I was looking to spend on something, and it just so happened that I had just enough, or barely just enough, to basically get Strawberry Miku for free. So obviously, faced with money that I don't know what to do with and a pretty anime girl, I caved. The entire total that came out of my bank account when I paid for this figure was $99.97 Canadian. Can I get a round of applause? Thank you. Thank you. I'm here all evening. Yeah, basically, I already know that I'm gonna love this. I already know that she was like one of my holiest of grails for so long, and I don't care if she gets dirt cheap on the aftermarket. I just wanted to have her. So this marks the end of the horror journey that it has been with Amazon Japan. So honestly, I'm just excited. I really just want to get into this. This box is humongous, okay? And I know there was some controversy a couple of months ago because this whole time she's been advertised as a 1/6 scale figure, and so people thought that it was justified that she was going up for this kind of a price when she was such a big scale, but then they kind of quietly changed it to like a 1/7, and people were all like, what is happening? This feels to me, and based off of the user photos I've seen, this feels like a 1/6 scale figure. I'm gonna count this as my first 1/6 scale figure. Here we go. Oh my god. Oh, I think I'm actually gonna cry. She's beautiful. I haven't even taken off the packaging. What am I talking about? Oh my god. The base looks so good. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I also recently noticed the bow on the back. There was life before this figure, and now there's life after this figure. I feel reborn in a strange spiritual way, like Miku is some sort of god. Half the weight of this figure is definitely in the hair. This is actually so insane. Holy... oh my god. This is literally not even in the good filming light, and she is absolutely stunning. Good Smile Company. I get it. I get it. I'm sorry that I ever doubted you. This figure is absolutely insane. Look at this. Oh my god. Cue the angel sing song because this girl is so freaking cute, it's heavenly. I knew because I had lusted over her for months that she was gonna instantly shoot up on my favorites list, but she is truly something else. She is fantastically detailed, and they really killed the most important parts in terms of quality. The decals on her dress are very clean and well done. Her twin tails are maybe the most insane thing I've ever seen, right down to the petals on the flowers, and I love the different finishes of paint that add a very visually stimulating texture to the whole thing in person. She shines much more in that regard as compared to the promo photos, and I will not be raising my hand to complain about any of it. Her face is gorgeous. Her eye decals especially just shine with so much light, and I feel they were able to deliver a very emotive expression. From the adorable strawberry headphones down to the dainty little blue manicure, she is simply precious. There are a few things that I think could have had a little bit more care put into them, specifically where it's concerned with the ribbon on her fork being a little messier in comparison to everything else, and also the macaron on the plate could have used a little more shading in my opinion. Obviously with such an ambitious figure like this, you can't really compare all the apples to just a couple oranges, so I'm probably only criticizing because it stands out against parts of the figure that make it really great. Ultimately though, I can't be the one to tell you if you should pick this up or not. What makes a perfect Miku for one person and what fits one person's collection is different than the next, and I think especially when it comes to Miku, it's really up to what you like to collect and how much money you're comfortable spending. But what I can say is that this was a very educated buy for my own collection, and I can confidently stand by the fact that I'm absolutely smitten with her, and I can't ever see myself wanting to part with her. Keeping in theme with strawberries, this next figure I have to show you is a really special one. This figure was actually very kindly gifted to me by Elisa over at the Figure Frontier. I did include her average retail price in the total of this video, but I did not in fact pay for this figure. I'm so blown away by the generosity. I did pay for the shipping, A, because Canadian shipping rates are absolutely stupid, and then also B, I really didn't want her to be out anything for her generosity. But this is how I got the very first lewd figure in my collection. This box was very kindly sent to me by Elisa at the Figure Frontier. She's downsizing her collection, and she saw that she had a figure that was on my wish list and asked if she could send it to me. This is the Binding Tasting Collection 1/8 scale Ichigo Milk. Oh my god. I am so freaking excited. I gotta get into this. It's my first binding figure, it's my first lewd figure, it's my first 1/8, and it was sent to me by a friend, and I'm so excited. I'm gonna cherish this forever. I already know it. I think she comes nude, so give me a second to figure this whole situation out. Oh, she is perfect. Oh, I'm so excited. She's amazing. Fuck, she's so good. Oh, I love it. Oh, she's so pretty. Okay, let's be honest. Was I going to display this figure cast off? Probably not. But I am curious, so give me a second. There are instructions in the box. Should I maybe be looking at that? She's too cute. Oh my god. Thank you so much, Elisa. There is no world in which I didn't absolutely need this figure, and I can't believe I was ever on the fence about picking her up. She was one of those ones I always wanted, but was too passive to actually hunt for, and now that I have her, I'm simply adoring how she fits with the collection. Of course, this is made even more special because it was a gift from a friend, and I just get such happy feelings when I see her in my detolf. Obviously, I can't show you the full depth of this figure on YouTube if I want to retain my brand new shiny AdSense account, but best know, as my first lewd figure, she does not disappoint. I am entirely too obsessed with bows and lace, so I will be keeping her cast on because I think her outfit is way too cute, but she is decently detailed in case you wanted to know. I think it's really the facial expression that brings this figure alive. It just conveys so much attitude and really fits the ice cream vibe. On a complete side note, I literally wish I could steal these shoes for myself because, oh my god, they're gorgeous. While I do wish the scoops had seen a bit more sculpting, she is 6 years old now, and there is an acceptable amount of shading put into it in my opinion. All in all, she's making a really great home for herself with Strawberry Miku, and later down the line, she's gonna be best friends with Strawberry Shortcake. I just know it. Thank you so much for sending her to me, Elisa. I will treasure her forever. We'll wrap up today's video by jumping back onto a figure that I sat on the fence about for a really long time. I did actually end up picking up the new Figuarts Zero CHOUETTE Sailor Moon, even though I wasn't entirely sure if I needed her for my collection or if I was just blinded by my irrational love for this franchise. You guys, I know that this is a figure review channel, and objectively, this is in fact a figure, but I have to let it be known that in my mind, my Sailor Moon collection is entirely separate from my actual figure collection. In terms of my figure collection, she's straight up bad. For 11,000 yen, you could get a Kotobukiya figure on the low end, and it would be miles better in quality for sure. We all know I've gone off about wanting Bandai to loosen the chokehold they have on this license, but let's face the facts, they're never gonna do it, so we have to be content with what we get. Off the bat, yeah, her wings have a lot of obvious seams, her paint isn't impressive, but it isn't bad, and her face is pretty, even if it is a little derped from some angles. It's acceptable because it's truly the best we get for Sailor Moon, and because it's Sailor Moon, I'm irrationally obsessed with her, you feel? She's a great addition to my Sailor Moon collection, and I do really feel like she's more of a merch item over anything else, so it served the purpose I wanted her to have. I also forgot to mention that this is literally the one time I sprung for domestic pre-order. I nearly always try to buy in yen, but GameStop had her for 130 Canadian with free shipping, and I decided that was a smarter move. And what a smart move it was to pre-order this, because as of filming, she has actually started to go up in the aftermarket for some reason. Not a lot, but enough that if I had have waited, I probably would have been upset. In truth, this is actually only about half of what I've picked up in the last 4 to 5 months. There is a part 2 of this video coming very soon in which I will be talking about the rest of what I've been able to add to the collection recently so we can get all caught up for summer. I'm grateful to be in a position where I'm able to add to my collection at this scale, and honestly, I'm really happy and I'm feeling really good about how it's shaping up right now. But of course, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side.